I just wanted to
Yeah.
say, man, what an incredible job you did at the ACMs under super weird circumstances hosting that award show.
Yeah, it was very unique. Hopefully a one-off, right?
Having no fans there, what was that like for you? You're like just talking to the camera. I know millions of people are watching, so.
Yeah. Somewhere between a long Zoom and a rehearsal. It's what it
Does
felt
that take
like.
the pressure off though? Did it feel like a big stress relief not having a whole bunch of live people there?
That's a great question. No, because I feed off the energy of the audience. You know, if you're going to be on an actual stage, maybe it would have been different if we were in a studio where there were no seats, but because there were seats with obviously nobody in them, it was a strange reality
You're like, this
reminder.
hasn't been like this for me in about 30 years, playing to nobody in here. This is a real good throwback for
Yeah,
me.
but it felt really fresh as well at the same time, right? Those club days aren't that far behind me.
So when you were, writing this thing and you knew no fans were going to be there, you're like, maybe we don't do a lot of jokes because if I throw it to the audience, there's nobody laughing and nobody to make fun of like other award shows, right?
Well, and it's also just trying to be sensitive to the reality of what we're in the middle of, keep it buoyant, but also human, you know? So, but yeah, I would love to have done it in Vegas with an audience, and who knows next year, right? Fingers crossed.
You should get another crack at the can since you're the one that landed an incredibly difficult ship.
Right?
It's like, no, you're good. We'll give you a pandemic year and you're done. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I'm good. I'll roll with anything.
When you opened that Entertainer of the Year, did you think somebody was punking you?
Oh man, I was like, oh, this is another Moonlight moment right here, right? You
It's
know,
like,
it's
no.
like I've never seen that. Obviously it's never happened before. So yeah, as Carrie summed it up, she goes, wow, just 2020, huh?
How would you feel though, as somebody who's won an Entertainer of the Year, are you okay with splitting it or would you have rather seen the tie be broken?
Oh, I mean, you get it. You get it. You get it. You know, it's, I always remind people the first award is the nomination. I mean, they've only got limited amount of them. So to be acknowledged like that by your peers, it's amazing. Yeah, they were both cool with it, I'm sure.
I think these days, as much as we love the award part, we as a fan, we tune in for the incredible performances. And your duet with Pink, the way you guys did that was mind-blowing.
Thank you. You know, this is a year to be innovative and creative and work with what we got, right? It's lemonade. It's just one big lemonade year, basically. We're going to make lemonade this year. But I had a great time shooting that. I wished I could have done it with Pink actually on the set, but I think we came up with a pretty novel way to make it work.
Had you been searching for a great song to add Pink on for a few years now, or was this just the
Yeah,
right song and immediately you thought Pink?
all the above. Yeah, I've always wanted to sing with her. She's I was thinking the other day, it's not just her voice, which is like a singer's singer, right? She's the real deal. But there's a humanity in her voice. Like there's strength and courage and vulnerability and hope and compassion. I feel everything in her voice when she sings. So she's really more of a storyteller. And that's why she was so perfect for this song.
Well, and One Too Many tells such a great story. I think we've all kind of been in that scenario at least once in our lives, right?
I wish it was only once. It's been a while. Thank goodness.
Last album, I think it was last album, you had Canadian Lindsay L shred the guitar on Horses. Did you anticipate asking any new Canadians, maybe a Tennille Townes to work with you, maybe on the Speed of Now Part 2 or something like that?
I think everything is open right now. I mean, I'm always up for collaborating with anybody. We did some shows in Vegas and Tennille came out and played, and she's so good. She's just so good. I tell you what I love about her, amazing songwriter, amazing voice. Finally, someone who hangs the acoustic guitar down low, like rock star swagger on an acoustic. Who does that?
Well,
Tennille
you
does
do that. I've seen you do that.
Not like Tennille. She gets that thing down low, man. It's great.
She's
I love
also
it.
got a bunch of her songs on that guitar. You know the story behind that guitar?
No, I don't.
Yeah, it's got all of her basically titles of her singles on that guitar and songs that mean a lot to her engraved into that thing.
Wow, that's so crazy. When I was when we were working on the Speed of Now, and I had a sense of some of the songs that we were going to do. I started writing them in Sharpie on my acoustic, all the way around the edges on the front. I had no idea about Tennille. So my acoustic has a ton of song titles written in Sharpie all the way around the edges on the front. A couple of songs of which didn't actually make the record, which was a bummer, but they may be on the next one.
You just use whiteout, you're fine.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, nobody will notice.
So, because we're gearing up for our Canadian awards, the CCMAs this weekend, is there a Canadian you've had in mind that you've wanted to work with, maybe a Shania or a Dallas Smith, or is it Tennille?
You know what, you got, I don't know what happens up in Canada. I don't know what's going on in Canada, but the amount of artists and talent and songwriters from Canada per capita is kind of not fair. Like, I don't quite know what's going on up there. I mean, I grew up just adoring Katie Lang. So for me, you know, Rufus Wainwright, just some of the Gordon Lightfoot, some of the most amazing songwriters. Neil Young, good Lord. I mean, they're all just Canadians. So it's an amazing country full of insane artists, and they keep coming. Look at Tennille. It's crazy.
So are we going to get a Speed of Now Part 2 looking at that? I mean, you do anything Part 1, immediately everybody's mind goes to there's got to be more coming, right?
Yeah, because I recorded too many songs for this for this album, and I was like, you know, it was a little bit like picking who gets in the lifeboat and who doesn't get to go on the lifeboat. When I was
Titanic style, I like it.
Yeah, and I felt so bad for the songs that didn't make the lifeboat that I went, well, why don't I just have 2 lifeboats?
But there's got to be a significance behind why you titled it the way you did. Is that something that came to your mind because of the pandemic, just how life has changed time-wise, or did you have that already?
It was really, well, the title came in October last year. We were touring around, and it was really apparent. I know this sounds like, yeah, of course you say that in hindsight, but I swear last year, it was so apparent to me that everywhere I went, I felt like people, all of us, to a large degree, were living beyond our ability to keep it up for very long. You know, a lot of it's just sort of the battle we got right now between us and technology, and how we stay on track with our evolutionary speed. That's a whole other conversation, but there was no doubt about it that it is not sustainable. It was not sustainable. And I don't mean just environmentally, I mean physically, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, all of it, humanly, it just wasn't sustainable. So this album title was a sort of a comment to that, really. The speed of now is just out of control. And then boom, the speed of now, very, very different. So I guess because it's relative at any given time, just like music is, like songs are, the title just stayed strong and true.
Because I'm big on life's going to guide you in the direction you need at that moment, even if you don't realize it, even if it's bad circumstances, it's life telling you something. So do you feel like was needed for you to just slow down a little bit?
I was already kind of in that place, which is probably why I recognized how fast everything else was. We prioritize family, you know, family is very important to us, and connectedness, strong, steady connectedness, and savoring days and moments, and not sort of, you know, to quote Garth Brooks, you can still smell the roses when you're running with them in your hand, which, you know, is like partly true, but that's kind of where we just had started to head. And I just think we had to slow down. I wish we didn't have to do it this way. That's all.
You mentioned family being so important. Do Nick and the girls, do they have a favorite from the album?
Yeah, just the ones between the beginning and the end.
Oh, perfect. Those are good.
That's the only ones.
Tell me a little bit about Say Something, because as I was listening to it, I lost my dad earlier this year. And just the power of that song and that message just really hit me.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. I know that feeling. We all have our own relationships with our dads, particularly us boys, you know. And my dad's sort of lessons over the years have resonated in different ways at different times with me. But he was very much don't speak out about things and just be quiet and, you know, get on with your life and don't rock the boat and all that sort of stuff. So when the song started getting written, it was, the first verse was very much about social commentary and just speaking up for things you believe in, because as it says in the chorus, silence is dangerous. So speaking up, being proactive and being a part of the world you want to see is very important. But at the same time, my father's words kept ringing in my ears, and I'm like, well, how would that pertain in another way for say something? And that's intimacy. And that's a whole other place where I'm learning to speak up and say things that I feel, you know, I wasn't raised in that kind of a family. Our family really didn't talk about intimate things. So, you know, you don't really hear I love you enough, or I'm sorry, things like that. So there was also those things need to be said as well, because that kind of silence is also dangerous.
And especially with just everything going on, just the more you can say is perfect. I'll get you out of here on this. And thank you so much for your time. I absolutely love the album. The range is so Keith. It's just fantastic. But I do have to end on something weird. We have a debate on my show every day. The debate I need you to weigh in on is what's better, Star Wars or Harry Potter?
Ooh, that's good. Ooh, man, that's like left hand, right hand kind of question. They're different, you know. I mean, I love mythology, obviously. Star Wars is rich in it. I mean, they both are, of course, but I'm probably more of a Star Wars guy. Yeah.
You just broke my heart, but I still appreciate your time.
Sorry.
Keith, thanks so much for all the entertainment over the years and your time. This album's fantastic, and I just can't wait to see what comes next. And hopefully you'll be in Canada soon, because I'm sick of all this pandemic stuff. So
we're all over it, and I would love to be coming up there and playing. I'm just going to set my sights on that. You know, build it and they will come.
Canada loves you. All the best to the family. Thanks, Keith.